Okay, so if you remember from the last video, what we were doing was finding the mean from this frequency table, and we were finding numbers to put into our f times x column over here, and we were doing 6 times 10 to get 60, 8 times 14 to get 112, and I've just filled in the rest of the numbers here: 13 times 18, 21 times 22, 2 times 26, and so on. And then I total up this f times x column and I get 920. Total of the frequency column being 15. And then if you remember that what we've got to do to find the mean from a frequency table is the total of the f times x column divided by the total of the f column. So we need to do 920 divided by 50, and you could tap that in a calculator, or you may be able to work that one out without a calculator, but either way we're looking for the answer 18.4. Now if you flick over the page, you will find that the next thing that you've got to do is draw a frequency polygon from this. And if you remember, frequency polygons involve the midpoint column and the frequency column. So what I've done on the next page is I've just copied those. So there's our frequency column and our midpoint column. Apologies again for the writing, it's squashed up here a bit on the iPad. So the frequency, you can see, goes up this axis here, and the temperature goes along this axis here. So we plot temperature of 10 against a frequency of 6, so 10 across on this axis and 6 up. It's going to be a point just there. Oh, in fact, I've just made a mistake that I was about to warn you not to make. Make sure you look at the scales on the axis. From 5 to 10 here is 10 little squares, so 2 little squares for 1 unit. On here, 14 and 8, so we go 14 across and up to 8. So we get to here, and then 18 and 13. And what we've got to remember is when we are plotting a frequency polygon, it's the only thing which we join things up with a ruler dot to dot from one point to the next. All other lines, all of the graphs that we draw is either one straight line or a smooth curve, but with this one, dot to dot with the ruler. So I haven't got a ruler on the iPad, but make sure that you use a ruler on the exam. And that's the sort of shape that we're looking for there. You will lose a mark if you've not done that with a ruler in this case. This one here, we've got a right angle triangle, and we've got two sides here. So this is a Pythagoras theorem question to find the length of AC. So that's this distance here from point A to point C. So Pythagoras theorem, we're going to draw our squares on, and you can see that this is the little square. Just a second, this one here is the little square, this is the medium-sized square, and this is the big square. So this area plus this area equals this area. So what we've got to do is the area of this square here is 39 squared, and probably reach for a calculator for that one, I guess. 39 times 39 is 1521 centimetre squared. 70 times 70, well, we should be able to work that one out because 7 times 7 is 49. But we're on a calculator paper, so we check that. So this area here is 1521 centimetres squared, this area here is 4900 centimetres squared, which makes the big area 4900 plus 1521. Again, you could go for a calculator, you could check it without as well. 6421 centimetres squared for that big square there, and we want this length of this side here, so we just need to do the square root of that, 6421, and let me just get the calculator for that one. 6421. We've got an answer of, the calculator is actually giving me 80.131142 and so on, and if you read the question it says to 1 decimal place, so line down after this to 1 decimal place, 80.1, and centimetres in the question is a length that we found, so centimetres for my answer, so 80.1. Question 16, sorry about that, question 16, we've got an equation with some brackets in it, so we'll expand the brackets. 5 times f is 5f, 5 times minus 3 is minus 15, equals f plus 10. Make sure we've got that line and we've got the mark so far. We need to get the f's on the same side, so if I get this f here, this is a positive f. When I move it over the equal sign, it becomes minus f, so that's 5f, take away f, that's 4f, minus 15 equals 10. So something take away 15 is 10. So as we've done before, we would cover that thing up there. Something take away 15 is 10. That something would be 25, wouldn't it? So that 25 is equal to this thing here, which is 4f. So 4f is 25. Divide by 4 on both sides. How many 4s fit into 25? Well, it's 6 and a quarter, or 6.25. If you tap that in a calculator. Part B, we're going to leave. That's more difficult algebra than we've dealt with this year. Now this one here, quite tricky, but definitely something we can tackle for a few marks. The way to try this one is just put an extra row in to work out the x cubeds and the 4x's, and then we're doing the x cube row, take away the 4x row. So minus 3 times minus 3 times minus 3 is minus 8, and you've got to watch your negatives there. Minus 3 times minus 3 is 9, times minus 3, oh sorry, minus 3 times minus 3 is 9, times minus 3 is minus 27. Sorry, I was doing minus 2 cubes, so minus 27 and minus 8. So watch those. Minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2. Minus 2 times minus 2 is 4. Then times minus 2 would give us minus 8. 1 cubed is 1. 2 cubed is 8. And then 4 times x. So 4 times minus 3 is minus 12. 4 times minus 2 is minus 8. 4 times 1 is 4. And 4 times 2 is 8. And then we're doing the x cubed take away 4x. Let me just rub off that extra scribble there. Go back to the start. Look, x cubed take away 4x to find y. So x cubed is 8. Sorry, here we've got x cubed is 8. 4x is 8. So 1 take away the other is 0. Here we're going to do 1 take away 4 and get minus 3. Minus 8 minus minus 8 is a 0. Minus 27 minus minus 12 is the same as minus 27, and then go up 12, so we're going to get minus 15, and we're up to 2 marks so far. Now, even if you've got the wrong numbers in there, you will get some credit if you then plot these points on the graph. So make sure those are the points you plot. Now, when we plot these points, we're going to find that we don't have a straight line graph in this case. So I'm going to start up here, 3, 15, go across the 3 and up to 15. 0, 2, 0 is going to be here. 1 minus 3, and then 0. I'm going to have to scan up and down a bit here. Right, 1 minus 3 is down here. 0, 0, and minus 1, 3. So these are the points that we're getting. It's not a frequency polygon, so we don't join it up with a ruler. This is going to be a smooth curve. Minus 15. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to draw this one on the iPad, but we can see that we've got a sort of wavy curve here. It starts here, comes up, and then down, and then back up again. So it's a smooth curve, something like that. Obviously, you want to make sure you actually hit the points. Watch out for that sort of thing there. Like I said, a little bit difficult to draw this one on the iPad. Let's keep going. We must be getting close to the end of the things that we can try. This one looks like a question that we can do, but in fact it needs a bit of trigonometry. Those of you that have learnt the trigonometry bits, try finding that height there. If I tell you that that's 6 and that angle's 54, so have a look at this right angled triangle to find the height, and then we can do base times height and half it for the area. But most of us haven't done trigonometry, so we missed that one out. Question 19, again, most of us haven't done standard form, so we'll miss that one out. Last thing I'm going to have a look at then is question 20. Because we could get this one right if we think about it carefully. This has been there was a sale price, and it was before the sale we've reduced prices by 20% to make them in the sale. So we have let me start and say that again. The sale price is £464. We took the some price, we don't know what it is, and we reduced it by 20% to get £464. So £464 is actually 80% of the original price, because we've taken the original price and we've reduced by 20%, so 100% take away 20% is 80%, and we want, so we've got £464 is 80%, and we want to find 100%. So if we go down to 10% by dividing by 8, so 464 divided by 8, you could do that with or without a calculator. I'm going to be lazy and go for the calculator this time. £58 is 10%, and we want 100%, so we're going to say 580, because 10% times by 10. And the question says, by how much money is the normal price of the washing machine reduced? So the normal price is £580, it's gone down to 464, so what's the reduction? 580, take away 464, and I'm going to be slightly less lazy this time, I'll do this one without a calculator, and it's £116. That is the last question that I would tackle on this paper if we're aiming for a grade C. There are a few more things, not easy questions. Question 22, we might be able to have a go at part A perhaps, but the rest of this stuff is all quite tricky, so we're not going to have a crack at any of this. We could maybe have a go at question 24, because this is a cylinder, and if you look at it, it's a prism. It's a circle at this base times by the height, so we might get some credit for finding the volume of the prism, but we've already comfortably got a grade C if we've got everything right so far, and we might even have a grade B. So we're going to leave that there.